G'day guys, as the title says, this video is about us sailing down to Brisbane from Fraser Island. Before we get into that though, we want to show you a quick look back on the few days before we left. It was very stormy and very rough around, and we obviously couldn't sail to Brisbane, so we used the time and went up the Mary River to Maryborough. Never thought of doing that, but friends lived up there and told us to come up, said they would cook for us and we could use their laundry and fill up with water, and they said it was a beautiful place. So we looked on the maps and thought, why the hell not? So here's a bit of a roundup of that few days we spent up in Maryborough. Enjoy. What do you think of the giant rabbits in Australia?
They're cool, but I would not pet them. They are bigger than me. I don't really would like to be too close.
Yeah.
They're super fun to watch, but they look really strong.
Now the Mary River floods, and it floods quite often and quite gnarly. Earlier this year in February, this is some footage of it flooding, and this bridge you see here is the same one that we're under in the dinghy, and that's pretty much a yearly occurrence. Alright, so the floodwaters came to here in 2013. I mean, that's the bottom of the scale. They came to there, but look where the river is. Like, that's already terrible. And then 2022, this year, they came to here in January, and then everyone cleaned up, and then a month later, they go all the way up here. So after 1 month of cleaning up, they came again the same year. It's the only time on this whole board that there's in 1 year 2 floods that made it on the board. The Wall of Fame. Unbelievable. This is my friend Garth. I call him Croc. Reminds me of Croc Dundee. Anyway, I met him on my first ever year sailing, probably back in 2014. He gave me some tips sailing up and down the coast, and he met us in Maryborough and actually showed us around with his son. This here is a sausage tree, African sausage tree, and yeah, I broke one open obviously, and we just figured that they were edible because someone said they were, and so we had a bit of a nibble, and then actually googled it and found that they're poisonous. They're only edible after they've been cooked. So I spent the rest of the day thinking I was feeling symptoms of poisoning, but obviously I didn't die. So Mark and Dawn, our friends up there, advised us to go to the public toilets in Maryborough. They didn't really say anything else, just go to the public toilets. So we went, and yeah, what an incredible place. Wow, I wish every town council would do an initiative like this. They got artists in and just modelled the place. It's a pleasure to go for a poop there.
So we are getting ready to leave Maryborough. We're gonna go down on the river. That was a really nice stop and a bit relaxing time, because we were really rushing these last weeks because we were trying to be in time in Brisbane. And yeah, like I was just starting to be a bit tired and a bit lost of where I am, because we are moving every day, and I've been 2 or 3 days in the same place, and a really lovely place with all this nature around, the kangaroo, this little city. Baby, your shoes!
I just lost my shoe, floating away. We just loaded the dinghy, and you can't do anything about it. Now I've just got one shoe.
So yeah, what I was saying, it was really relaxing to be in a nice place, especially this little town was really full of charm and really nice building, nice architecture, and full of history, and I'm really loving these kind of things. And yeah, like I was really feeling good here.
Alright. We're free. Actually, the current's nearly just stopped, huh? Alright, we can still see my flip-flop up in the river, so we're going to chase it down and try and grab it with the boat hook. Thank you, Dawn, Mark and Kai, for looking after us, providing us with hot showers and laundry and a nice jetty to hook up onto, and it was really cool to catch up with you guys after these few years. A lot of changes to your lives and our lives during that time, but good to see everyone's spirits are high and positivity abounds. How we doing? Quick, 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 quick. Oh, where are you? Just trying to back down.
Yeah.
It's proving difficult. The little bugger doesn't want to come back. It's probably because I called it shit. Alright, we're going to back up and just try and grab it, but you can probably grab it with your hand if we do it right.
Yeah, probably. It's not easy.
Why? Yes.
Yeah, definitely better than with the hook.
I'm going to give it a slap. You're bad, bad, bad. Alright, we're on our way now. Oh, we nearly hit a fucking boat, babe. We weren't watching. That was a bit close. We're worrying about a flip-flop and nearly hit a boat. Whew. Alright, all good though. I think we're going to survive. "20 miles back down the river, another 20 miles down the sandy straits, and we were anchored up in a beautiful Inskip Point. That's where the ferry takes four-wheel drivers over to Fraser Island. And we stayed there the night, had a nice afternoon, evening, and then, yeah, next morning, off we go across the Wide Bay Bar. Today we are crossing the Wide Bay Bar, the bottom of Fraser Island, and sailing down to Brisbane. It's about 85, 90 miles, something like that. And it's about 6:30 in the morning now, so we should get there, yeah, I don't know, sometime between probably 8 and midnight tonight, depending on the wind, obviously. We've been waiting around this area here for a week now. There's been crazy weather, 50, 60 knot winds for 4 or 5 days in a row, 5-6 metre swells out here. This is the first calm day. So it was calm during the night, and so we hope the swells got knocked over a little bit. And crossing the notorious Wide Bay Bar, I've crossed it 3 or 4 times so far, and it's always been calm and pretty mellow. Today might be a bit different, but I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. There's northerly winds forecasted today, picking up probably around 11. So we might have to motor sail the first couple of hours, but we don't really have the choice because you have to cross this bar at the right time on the tide because of the depth, and also because you don't want wind against tide and standing waves and things. So we're having to leave this early in the morning, even though there won't really be wind until, yeah, as I said, 10, 11 o'clock, but that just is what it is. Anyway, we'll hope we'll get a good sail later on this afternoon, and we'll show you that. Maybe put the fishing lines out, try not to get sunburned.
I'm a bit nervous this morning to cross this Wide Bay Bar because I heard some not really nice stories. And yesterday we saw some boats with the binocular going there, and it was still super rough because we had really, like as Vernon said, 1 week of quite stormy weather, strong winds and rain. But for now, what I am seeing, it's kind of calm, so I'm really like praying that it's gonna be comfortable. It is the time of the throne now. It's the time of the throne. Every time there's a little bit of swell. That's how I am feeling comfortable.
What is this throne you speak of?
It's my bean bag. I can be comfortably in a nest, not moving, not feeling the waves. So for the first time, since I am on Chiel and I am attached, I don't think it's really helped me to feel safe, but if I have to do it, it's probably because it's more dangerous than ever. Oh, I can see it's scary, baby.
So as it always is here inside the Wide Bay Bay, it's sort of wishy-washy. The swell rolls over the sandbar and sort of just little like whirlwinds and whirlpools and stuff in here. but it's not too bad. I think we'll be fine going through, but we've got our life jackets on anyway and harnesses, and we'll play it safe. Get through this bar and then we should have a nice downwind run for the rest of the day. But we can see some rolling breakers out there. There's the odd set that come through that really break on the sandbar. It's another couple of miles till we get to the critical point where you go through, and but in the distance I can see some rollers, so I'll try and film that for you as we go through.
I am internally talking at each wave we are seeing. I am telling them to not breaking. I'm feeling better like this. Like each wave I'm seeing, I'm like, don't break, please don't break. It seems to work for the moment.
What would I do without her, eh? If I was by myself, there would be breaking waves coming over the boat. She's giving personal prayers and having a bit of a chat with each wave as it goes past. Very nice of her. Well, we are sort of technically on the bar now. It's only another 100 meters and we're getting to deeper water, and it is very, very calm. This is probably about as good as you get here. So as you can see, we've got full sails up. Well, I've actually got a couple of rolls on the jib just so I can see under it, so I can see through it. But there's not much wind, but it is actually, well, I've got 7 knots of apparent on the beam. So as we're motoring, it's not really doing much. But the reason I've got them up is across critical places like this, often you're going up and down and swishing around, and that sort of can be when the sediment in your diesel tank might block your filters, or it just, you know, Murphy's law, if your motor's going to crap out, it'll probably be at a time like this. So having your sails up and ready to go is, well, for me it's very important, because it means I can still control the boat. If the motor was to go out, I could still sail either back in here or keep going, you know. A lot of people are sort of scared. They're like, oh, what if a gust comes and blows us while we're going through? And it's just boat handling. Be confident in your boat, be confident sailing your boat at all times, and it won't be a problem. Like, they'll actually be your best friend. If there was more wind, I wouldn't have the motor on, I would just sail out of here. It would be way less stressful, quieter, you can concentrate on where you're going. How are we doing, babe?
Good. We are going good. It's nice. The weather is way better than the last day, with good temperature. The sea is pretty calm. It's a good day.
How fast are we going?
Fast. That's what I can see.
Going 8. More fast than your speed. 8 we're going.
Yeah.
Well, it's about 10 o'clock. We're a couple hours into it. We had really good wind actually for a couple of hours. It wasn't forecasted, but yeah, we were sort of honking along 7.5. Had a bit of current against us, but going really well. And yeah, now it's sort of died off. The wing on wing, but as you can see, not very good boat speed. We've got 10 knots of true wind, so yeah, 6 knots of apparent, and yeah, I mean, we're doing between 4 and 5, and we've got half a knot against us, so if we didn't have the current we'd actually be going alright. But I think I'm going to pull the head sail down and get the Spinnaker out. I haven't run the Spinnaker this year. Marie's super enthusiastic, aren't you?
Oh yeah, really, like, Spinnaker is my favorite. I'm really loving it. But I don't really feel safe with the Spinnaker because it's way too big.
Yeah, but we're going to use it anyway. Alright, we'll go and rig that up. Well, as you can well see, we're still wing on wing. I went downstairs, dug out the spinnaker from under the V-berth, and then took it upstairs, out through the front hatch, started rigging all the lines necessary. And yeah, as I said, I haven't flown it this year, so that took a while. And then, yeah, then the wind started picking up. And we went from doing 4 knots to then 5.5. And now we're at 6 knots. Still got a bit of current against us, but yeah, we've got 12 knots of true wind. So yeah, 6 knots of apparent. But at, you know, at 6 knots through the water, it's not really worth running the spinnaker, because we'd have to go off course to run the angles. So it's just been playing with me. I actually went up there twice to fly it, and Marie was like, no, I don't want to. And then I'd get up there, yep, I'm going to put it up, I'm going to put it up. And then I'd get up there and the wind would just like zip 5 knots more, and I'm like, ah.
Because the wind is with me.
The wind's your friend?
Yeah. So as you can see, the spinnaker is out now. I was not super keen about it, but the wind was not picking as it was predicted, so we were getting quite slow. So yeah, we decided to fly the spinnaker, and I hope it's gonna be okay, because I don't really trust the sail at all.
Yeah, look, it goes super nice with the colour of the sky and the ocean. Yeah, so after a bit of messing around, we got the spinnaker up. Yeah, we're doing all right. Like, it's taken us a couple of knots up. We were sort of down to 4, and now we're up to 6, and I can probably tune it a bit more yet. I might try and get the drone up quickly while we're not going too fast and while the swell's not too big, and get you some drone shots. Now we're going pretty well now. There's a bit of a swell, so we're weaving around a bit. But yeah, we've got about 8 knots of apparent wind, and we're doing about 8 knots of speed. So it's going pretty good. If it starts creeping any higher, 13 knots of true, we can probably go up to 16 knots maybe of constant true wind, and then we're like safer and more comfortable with the jib. Yeah, we'll keep running this for a while. Come on. Wobble, wobble, wobble. So I'm doing a bit of hand steering now. The autopilot, we had to reset it back in Early Beach ages ago, and we haven't really, well, used the spinnaker, so we haven't tuned it right, and it's sort of overreacting. So we're at 120 degrees now, I'm doing 8.5. Just the apparent wind gets up real quick. If you go more into the wind, the apparent wind gets up 5 or 6 knots, and then you start speeding. But if you go too much downwind, the main blocks the spinnaker, and it just does this big floppy motion. So the autopilot was basically just going downwind and then losing drive and correcting, but then overcorrecting and then getting too much power and not being able to bring it back. So I'm just hand steering to try and keep it even.
We are back wing on wing, because the wind finally picked up, and I was downstairs thinking I'm gonna have a little nap, and just when I took off my sunglasses and my hat, ready to close my eyes, I felt the boat really like heeling, and Vernon yelled and he asked to help, and we were overpowered. So I had to help and steer during the time he was putting in the sock back the Spinnaker, and it was a bit scary, to be honest. That's why I don't like them. They are really nice, they are beautiful, they are sailing super good with, it looks like super smooth, but when they start to be overpowered, it's really like scary and bored. I don't like that.
Yeah, so as Marie said, we got a bit... I was watching the wind slowly increase, and I don't know, just seeing how long I could hold the Spinnaker, and it got really on the knife edge where it was okay, but I only had about 5 or 10 degrees leeway. And then, yeah, we got to about 18 knots true, and it would just pull up into the wind. Well, the first time when Marie's talking, yeah, it pulled up into the wind and I couldn't bring it back anymore without dumping the sheet, and I was in a bit of a dumb position. I couldn't reach that sheet from where I was sitting, so I had to yell at her and come over, release the sheet, and then we got it back downwind, and we were doing, I don't know, we were sitting on like high 8s the whole time, and yeah, we got it back downwind, and stupidly I should have realised at that moment, all right, now it's too much, but I sort of just thought, oh, I just let it get off track. But so Marie went back downstairs, and 10 minutes later it happened again, and it wasn't me this time, like losing concentration, it just pulled up, and yeah, so Marie came up again, and that was the moment we were getting 20 knots true then, downwind, so it's too much for that big Spinnaker. If there'd been someone on the sheets, we probably could have held it actually and been doing double digits maybe, but without being fully crewed, and Marie's first time really dealing with the Spinnaker sheets, was a bit too much. And we're not racing, you know. Anyway, so we've pulled it down, and now we're back to wing on wing, and we're doing 7-2, something like that, and it's very relaxed. I'm going to read a book now. All right, we're just passing a place called Caloundra now. Over here, it's a big, I guess, yeah, sort of resort, beachside town. I think a lot of retirement people live there. We're about 20 miles out now from Brisbane. Well, from Moreton Bay, we're only about 10 miles out from entering Moreton Bay. Yeah, another 3-4 hours to go and we'll be there. So yeah, 8, 9 at night. Yeah, and I'll show you with the long lens, but there's the Glasshouse Mountains over there at sunset. It's pretty beautiful. Yeah, well, having a great time.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful sunset. I think we didn't see one with all these different colors of, yeah, green, red, orange like this for a really long time.
Right guys, that's it for another week. Hope you enjoyed that one. Once again, massive shout out to our patrons. Much love from Marie and I. Wouldn't be doing all this without you, these weekly videos. For those of you maybe here for the first time, we make weekly videos about our adventures, and that's how we make our living. If you've enjoyed this video, been entertained, or maybe gained some knowledge, then please consider becoming a patron. There's a link below in the description. For the price of a cup of coffee per week, you can really make a difference and show your appreciation at the same time. A little really does go a long way. See you next week.